iwe wasara iwe Jaini aniko we muchene uyo iwe wasara iwe kutabura bachene Anzi chinoti tatara 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 Good morning to you, my dear friends, and welcome to the Glorious Morning Show's Concept Tuesday right here on your favorite Christian radio station. Thank you so much for joining us. Music there was from Higher Ground, a cappella, the gentleman in London, right, coming from the UK. But in Chitima, there is that train to heaven, making sure it carries each and everybody. And I'm praying that you are found getting ready to be on board if you are not already there, and but you are the conductor, the engineer, the driver of the train is the Spirit himself, and I'm praying that you were blessed by that piece of music.
You are listening to Glorious Morning, the breakfast show with a difference, right here on AWR SIDmedia, from broadcast to baptism.
Thank you so much for that, and welcome once again to the Glorious Morning Show's Concept Tuesday. Every Tuesday around about this time, we ensure that we give you these moments of reflection, right? Moments to just ponder upon some items. And today we're considering this idea of what we're calling don't judge a book by its cover. Now, we have most likely have heard of this saying before, right? When they talk about not judging a book by its cover, and we kind of have an idea of what it means and what they're trying to say. But one thing is clear: it's more than just a catchphrase. It's more than just a cliche. It's more than just advice about books, right? It's something that we can actually live by. It's a powerful principle that applies to situations, to opportunities, and even to people. Yes, indeed. In a world driven by first impressions, right? By what you see is what you get. These filtered appearances, sometimes we are challenged to look deeper, to think wider, to love better. And we're going to be unpacking that this morning as we go through this segment together. And I want to invite you to join me and to share your thoughts and comments with us. And welcome, by the way, to Adventist World Radio SIDmedia. Now, one thing that comes out is that when you talk about not judging a book by its cover, the undertone and the most obvious one of them is that that's because it's simple. You might find yourself being deceived, right? Appearances can be deceiving. I think what the saying goes, not all that glitters is gold, right? So if you're going to think, this cover looks so nice, therefore the contents must be nice, you'll be disappointed, my friend. And so appearances can be deceiving. Just because something looks polished or rough on the outside doesn't mean it reflects the truth that is within. And people may carry scars or shine with joy, and you can't see that at first glance. So many leaders, many artists, many thinkers were overlooked initially because they didn't look the part. And perhaps they didn't even act the part until perhaps you got to know them a little bit better. And then you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And people were written off, right? Especially by those who were in charge of them, be it teachers, be it mentors. And they're like, you're a waste of time. Just quit. Like, oh, okay, thank you, but no. So character sometimes isn't worn on the face, is what we're saying. It's shown in actions and usually over time. So allow for that. Another thing that comes out as well is how God deals with you and I. That He doesn't look at the surface, like how he put it in the book of Samuel as he was picking David as a king to come in after Saul, that he looks at the heart, right? That's what God says, that he looks at the heart. And so we then get that encouragement to say, we must also be found not looking to outward appearances rather, but like the Lord, to look at the heart. And this principle reminds us that external qualities are sometimes poor indicators of worth, potential, and righteousness, right? Especially on this idea of potential, that today you might be looking all flowery and flamboyant, but perhaps it's a fire of paper. It's going to be making big flames that are not going to warm anything. You can't heat anything with that fire, but also it's going to go out very quickly. Wait a minute for that. Those embers that take a bit of a second to catch the heat, but once they do, the whole night they're going, right? It's like that bamboo that it doesn't come shooting out, but once it does, it's going to be really, really lasting strong and going to be lasting a while as well. So that's an encouragement that is also coming out from this particular concept. Another one is that some of the most beautiful stories begin in unexpected packages, right? So don't write it off just as quickly. In fact, I think it's the book of Luke, which speaks about a gardener who is told by the master to say, cut off this fig tree. I've come a couple of years looking for fruit and there's nothing. And the gardener says, okay, master, I agree. I will cut it down, but let it alone this year also. So sometimes the package might not be what you're expecting, but there might be good behind that. And many life-changing friendships, partnerships, or callings start in ways that seem unimpressive or even inconvenient. And that quiet person, that awkward moment, or that simple opportunity may carry richness you'll only discover in the future. So don't write it off too quickly. Again, we're saying this morning. And I think if it's not obvious enough, to judge a book by its cover means you're going to be running a loss of whatever the contents are, right? So if you're going to be undertaking that kind of a judgment, to say, this one, it's not going to be nice, and then you write it off, or this one, it's not going to be amounting to anything, and you close off that door, you find yourself that you're building walls instead of bridges, right? So if we judge too quickly, we stop learning, and curiosity allows room for connection and understanding. Asking questions instead of making assumptions often leads to surprising and meaningful discoveries, be it about people, about life, or about books. And so why don't you go beyond the cover and say, let's look at what's on the inside. And it shows that you're a learner and you're willing to get to know more than what you already know. Because if you're going to go only by that which interests your eye and catches your perspective and your interest, then you're going to miss out on anything else that's different to that. And you never know where your mind could have taken you had you allowed it to explore beyond the norm, your comfort zones. So don't be too quick to judge. Maybe let's wrap it up with this one here. And I think this is the most important of it all, that when you talk about judging a book by its cover, one of Jesus' disciples, by the name of Nathaniel, when told about Christ, I think it was Philip who told me, hey, come and see, we found the Christ, the one we've been studying about, we have found him. He's out of Galilee. And Nathaniel says, come on, guys. Galilee, can anything good come out of there? Out of Nazareth, anything? And the Pharisees also shared the same sentiments. Nothing good can come out of this poor city. It's not even anything major. And even he, as Christ, people didn't look at him and thought, wow, now here's someone to you to take us into some extra or new higher level. So when you read the prophet Isaiah in chapter 53, that prophecy about the Christ, he says in verse 2, the Messiah had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. So it's nothing would call you to give him a thought. You had to be able to bypass your biases and look beyond that. And so many rejected him because he didn't fit their expectations. Yet through the seemingly ordinary man came the salvation of the world. And that alone should challenge us to stop limiting what God can do based on outward appearances. So that's our take here on the Glorious Morning Show. I'm interested to know What's your take? When it comes to judging books by covers, have you found it in your experience to be something that helps you? Or perhaps it's something that you want to consider changing? I want to hear your thoughts. +27 73 470 3520. Do share your thoughts with us. That's +27 73 470 3520. That was our Concept Tuesday right here on the Glorious Morning Show with me, your host, Derek Viriri. Good morning. Make it a great one.
You are listening to Glorious Morning, the breakfast show with a difference, right here on AWR SID Media.